everybody, it's Wes from Perfect Circuit. Today we're taking a look at the Circuit Rhythm from Novation. I can't get it to spin nice. The Circuit Rhythm shares a lot of its DNA with the circuit tracks. And for that reason, we're not going to go too in-depth on the sequencer, the mixer, or the arrangement functionality because it is identical to the tracks. The things we do want to highlight are what makes the Circuit Rhythm unique, what it excels at, which is sampling. Each of the 8 tracks is a fully fledged sample engine capable of manipulating samples, slicing them, adding distortion, pitching them all over the place, and it's incredibly fun and super versatile. First things first, let's take a look at one of the easiest ways to get samples onto this device. And then I'll just kind of grab my computer. Novation Components makes importing samples as easy as just dragging and dropping it where you want it to go, and then simply sending the pack to the Circuit Rhythm. It can't be understated how amazing of a utility the Novation Components is. It allows you to back up your projects and packs, move things around, edit your grid effects in real time, live, while you're listening to your sets play, which is absolutely incredible. This solution for data management and backing up your projects is miles ahead of what other folks in the industry have thought up, and it's incredibly easy. It works in a Chrome browser or standalone, and it gives you the peace of mind that no matter what happens, your files, your projects are backed up. Okay, I think it even syncs to the cloud. Like, you can sync this to the cloud. How dope is that? It's dope. The other thing you're going to use your Components app for is editing the grid effects, which are a new addition on the Circuit Rhythm and make it absolutely a joy to play these little patterns, quickly edit and apply gating effects, phasering, lo-fi, bit crushers, reversers. It's absolutely fun on a bun, and what's really cool is when you have the rhythm connected to the Components application, you can actually live preview the effects while your patterns are playing. So if we start playing this, and then quickly select this live preview knob right here, we can audition all of these effects. The other way of getting samples into the Circuit Rhythm is naturally sampling them in. So I grab my trusty 404 and let's take a look at some of these sample settings. So right up here, if you click on Sample Record, these are going to be your options right down here. You can turn monitoring on so we can hear things. Holy cow, that's loud. Which means we'll want to use the pad there, which brings the incoming audio down by 12 decibels. This button turns resampling on or off, and resampling, if you're not familiar, means that the unit will sample the internal audio. So whatever's going on in the unit will just be sampled right back into it. Incredibly nifty. And over here, we've got the threshold, which doesn't allow the recording to begin until an incoming audio is heard by the unit. So as soon as it hears something, it'll pop on the record. So we're going to use the threshold, the pad, and the through monitoring to just record a few samples here real fast. You just select an open slot and then hit record. And because our threshold is on, the recording's not going to start until the unit hears something. So let's give it something to listen to. All right, it's going to save that in there, and here's our sample. Once the sample's in there, you can really quickly adjust the start time, the end time, and get right on to sampling something else. So let's go. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Love my 404. Okay, so let's get this bad boy out of here. So once you've got a sample recorded, you've got a couple of options down here for how that sample plays out. You can loop the sample, reverse it. You can have it be a one-shot, which just means that it's going to start, play till the end, and be done. Or you can have it gated, which means that it's only going to play for the length of time you hold down the pad. Pretty nifty. So once you've got your samples into the rhythm, there's actually a whole bunch more you can do to them. Along the top row are the controls that you get for every channel. So you've got your tune, your start time, your length of the sample, which in conjunction with the start time you can use to scrub through the sample. You've got this slope control, which is actually really unique. If you turn it to the left, you get a really exponential whoop. If you turn it to the right, you get kind of a delayed attack, kind of a ramp up there. And that can be really nifty for cutting off pops or clicks at the beginning of a recording or smoothing out transitions. Moving right along, you've also got distortion. Which is always fun. On the right side, you've got controls that are going to be essential for any sort of sound sculpting, a high pass filter, and a resonant low pass filter. In addition to all those controls, you can also slice a sample. If you're familiar with slicing, you know how powerful this functionality is. What slicing allows you to do is evenly distribute a ton of slices, well, up to 16 in this instance, and then play back those slices in any order you choose. Now, the circuit rhythm doesn't have traditional time stretching, but with some creative use of the slicing utilities, you can preserve transients in percussive samples and chop melodic samples to be usable however you choose. Slicing is super easy in the circuit rhythm. All you do is turn the slice mode on and then select 4, 8, or 16 slices. So if we select 8 slices here, we can go and take a look at our slices here, and that sample is now cut up into little bits for us. If the preset slicing doesn't chop your loop the way you want it to, you can also go into this insert your own slice mode, which lets you put your own slices in. So yeah, let's take a look at the slicing functionality on some drum loops and some bass lines. Boop, 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 boop. That one. That one. So if we use the slicing functionality on a drum loop, say this one, we end up with something like this. What's so handy about having all of these little bits of this drum loop is that now we can arrange them in any which way we like. In addition to this, the transients, which is going to be the main parts of the drum loop that you want to keep, are going to stay on the beat when we put them in the sequencer on the grid. But everything else is going to kind of shift around. So it's going to sound like this. And we can even go up or down in tempo, and it's going to kind of lock to the tempo. If you go a little too fast or a little too slow, you'll start to hear the beat kind of break apart. But you can also use the tune functionality to kind of pitch the sample up a little bit or pitch the sample down a little bit to increase the length of your slices. So if we pitch the sample down a little bit, we can take the tempo down a little bit lower than we could before. The slicing command can also be incredibly powerful with melodic samples, bass samples, or any kind of loop really. Let's take a listen to some of these acid lines. Cool, all right, ripping. So if we slice that into 16 bits here, you can see that we end up with all of those little notes as one stab. And then we can arrange them on the sequencer any which way we want. This can be incredibly powerful if you got a bunch of bass lines that are the same length and hit the same rhythmic points, like this one. And that one, because the circuit rhythm allows you to freely change your sample on the fly and retain the same slicing settings across samples, which is actually like, it's so bonkers I forgot how to talk. Let's just have some fun. Let's loop back to resampling. Resampling is an incredibly powerful utility that the circuit rhythm absolutely slam dunks. Resampling allows you to sample the internal audio that's going on inside the device. Whether that be using the sequencer to create a short loop and then slicing that up, chopping it into different loops, or just playing in your beats freehand. Now, I have a confession. I am not good at finger drumming, but resampling allows you to layer up your beats in a way that you don't need to play everything in all at once. Let's take a quick look. So if we go into here and we turn resampling on and then hit record, nothing's gonna happen because we still have the threshold on. So as soon as we start making some sound, the device is gonna record. So let me embarrass myself. All right, just gonna save it in there. Hey, it was actually a pretty good loop. Okay, so now what we can do is actually assign that loop to the first pad. And if we go back into here, this menu that allows all of our tracks to be played, we can now have that right there for us. And let's actually make sure that we're doing our good housekeeping and make sure that that is in loop mode. Otherwise, this is not gonna work very well. So now we can go back into our resampling menu and try this one more. Oh, select a new thing. And now we can do this one more time here. We'll select record, nothing's gonna happen. And now let's play a line in and play our hi-hats at the same time. All right, cool. So now that we've got our little kick, hat, snare pattern in there, we can kind of just play however we want, like this.
Good luck. Good luck.
Everything we've covered today just barely scratches the surface of what this device is capable of. The Circuit Rhythm packs in a ton of functionality and a bunch of considerations for a sample-based musician. And the Novation Components application makes backing up your projects a breeze, importing, exporting samples so easy. I can't stress how nice that functionality actually is. On top of everything we've talked about today, this unit is battery powered. You can pop an SD in there and put a ton of projects in there. It's built like a tank, and I absolutely adore it. Some other awesome features that we didn't even mention are the fact that it still has the global reverb and delay effects. It's got side chaining per track where you can set the side chain master and then set every track to different levels of compression, meaning that this box is a one-stop shop for everything music production. You can mix, you can manage your dynamics, you can resample, effortlessly export and import, and I think that for a portable musician or somebody who just wants something to play around with on their off time, the Circuit Rhythm will far exceed your expectations. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Let us know down in the comments what your favorite features of the Circuit Rhythm are. We'll see you next time. Happy weekend. We'll post it on a Friday, and it'll be the weekend.